we're down in my kitchen today. So I'm Gemma Daly and I run a meal prep company called Daily Fuel. I was a PT for about 9 years and I got sick of my clients not sticking to their eating plans. So I went and did a nutritional degree, which took me about 3 years. And then I started making the food for them. And then it kind of went from there. Now I'm making food for upwards of 50 people. So I don't want to get too big to make it processed. I like having a nice small company and being really personal with our clients. I want to be able to teach people what their meals should look like and what they should be getting. So that's why I'm here today, just to show you guys a few tips and tricks to make your food really tasty without it just being quick and easy all the time. Today I'm going to show you a few things, just some ingredients I bought from the shop on how to make them really tasty. So they're not overly the quickest recipes you could ever make, but they're much more tasty and you're going to enjoy them a lot better. We're ready to go. So I've cut up all the veggies for our meal. So we've got veggies to steam for our greens. We've got a little bit of salad veg, and we're going to roast some as well. Cut up pumpkin, potato and sweet potato. So if you guys are on specific macro meals and you're not allowed to add any oils, it is perfectly fine. Just add a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan so it steams them a little bit when they roast them, they don't dry out. Otherwise, if you're not too worried about that, go ahead and drizzle a little olive oil over. It makes it taste much yummier. So these are some herbs that I picked from my garden. I'm just lucky enough I always grow some herbs all season long. I try to. Just makes everything so much more tasty and they taste way better than shop herbs. Got some rosemary. Got some oregano. So that's our roast veggies done. So next, we've got our water boiling. So we can just chuck in all of the firm veggies first and chuck the beans in right at the end because they cook heaps quick. With the broccolini, put the hard bits down and the top bits will stay a bit firm. So I've got a couple of containers here, so start getting your meal prep together while you're cooking. It'll make it go a little bit faster for yourself. So that was 1 cucumber, a capsicum and a handful of salad mix, and that made about 3 meals. So now we're just going to wait till later on after we've grilled the chicken, and we'll pop that on top of the salad once it's cooled. This is my curried salmon. So I've just run my fingers along it, make sure all the bones are out because there's nothing worse than finding a bone halfway through eating when you're scoffing down your food. So this is how I like to bake my salmon. So about a week ago, it's got ginger, turmeric, onion, garlic, herbs, spices, chili. I like it nice and spicy and garlicky. Everyone's a bit different, so you can make it to have your own preference. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to steam it in coconut milk. So again, if you're on a macro plan and it does include fats, feel free to pop it on like this and use it as a steam, because coconut milk and coconut cream are really good fat sources, just like your coconut oils, butter, olive oil, so it's nice and fresh for you. Right, I just like to line it with some bok choy, so this kills 2 birds with 1 stone. I get to cook my bok choy and I get to cook my salmon. Alright, so you're not necessarily going to end up eating all that coconut cream if you're trying to stick to specific macros, but it's just good for flavour and it does steam it up. If you didn't want to use that, you can use water or you could use the lemon juice from the lemons. So guys, that's the curried salmon fillet, and what I'm going to do is pop it in the oven just for about 10 minutes, so you can double check your salmon just to make sure it's cooked to the way you like it. But what's going to happen is the coconut milk is going to heat up, produce steam, and it will steam our fish for us. See? Meal prep makes mess. Alright, so with my chicken, I actually like to slice it in half long ways. It's going to cook much quicker on the pan and stay more tender. So if you're on your proper plans, remember to weigh this raw to get the right protein content. Otherwise, once you cook it, everything changes a bit. From my garden, what I have a bit of parsley, I have some oregano, I have some mint. So I'm just gonna coat it in all of the herbs. There we go, we've got lemon and herb chicken. Alright guys, so we've got 2 chicken breasts going, so we get a bit of flavour from the week. So we've got our lemon and herb, and we've got our sesame with soy sauce and honey. So it's really delicious. Good, so we'll just leave them on there for a second. I'll come back and show you when you should know when to turn them. You'll see the white rising up the side. So we'll come back to that in a moment. Alright guys, so we've got the chicken on, we're waiting for that to cook. We've still got the salmon in the oven, and we've got the roast veggies. So while that's happening, I was going to make a quick chili con carne, like a little Mexican beef mince. Before we start over here, we've got to turn our chicken. So now, as you can see, the little white parts are starting to come around the chicken. You can see it's starting to cut the side and parts are going white. That's when you should turn it over. So now, nice and crisp on that side. It's gonna give much more better flavor. Same with that. All right, cool. Back over here. Bit of turmeric. All right, so I'm just gonna use half an onion. All right, we've got onion and garlic. I just like to add a bit of tin tomato, so then it really is just like a Mexican chili con carne. You can also add some kidney beans or chickpeas or whatever you really feel like, but it just also thickens it up a bit. We're just checking to see if the salmon is cooked. Look at all that coconut juice and green curry paste. Delicious. So everything is now finished cooking. It's ready to packaging time. So the first thing I like to do, I don't like a big chunk like this, because if I'm in a rush at work, I am not gonna eat a big thing like this. I prefer it cut up, and I do it for my company as well. We all have it in cut up pieces, so you can eat it with a fork or on the run. You don't need to make sure you have cutlery to cut it or anything like that. So a good way to weigh your protein for your macro portions is definitely do it before you cook it. Plate it up however you like. Got a bit of broccoli in there. Get some zucchinis down the side. Nice and full. One box done. If your kitchen does not look like this, you have not meal prepped properly. Or this. Cooking's messy. I definitely don't want to be doing these dishes. Alright, so I know I'm allowed 125 grams of cooked rice to equal to my 50 grams of carbohydrates, thereabouts. Each rice is a little bit different. Unfortunately, I only had a boro rice, which is a bit of more of a risotto rice, in my cupboard today, but I much prefer basmati rice or brown rice, as they are low GI. Cool, meal 2. So finish this rice off. You get a fair bit of meals out of what we've made if you do it right. So open this right up. Beautiful curry. There's no added sugars, there's no added preservatives. It's just made from all herbs and some coconut milk. That's a good 150 gram piece of salmon right there. And that's a tasty lunch. 2. There we go. And that's 100 grams. One for my husband, one for me. So I do weigh all of my food, and I do that with my company as well. So then everyone knows exactly what they're getting, exactly what they're eating. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Yeah, so we do weigh everything. Then you know exactly what you've got left over at the end of the day as well. If you haven't consumed all your calories or your macros that you should be, you can, if you were on our meals, you would be able to go, okay, awesome, I can add this, or no, I can't add that, just to be able to stick to your plan correctly. And I'm on my plans for my comps. I can have 50 grams of carbohydrates in a serve. That equals to 125 grams of rice, which is quite small, or 300 grams of sweet potato. I think I'm gonna take the 300 grams of sweet potato over the small amount of rice any day to make myself nice and full. All right, chili con carne time. I'm gonna have my chili con carne with my roast veg, and I'm allowed 100 grams. All right, so I've got all of our carbs, all of our vegetables, and all of our proteins. So I've only got one with added fats. I know that I have one here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 that I can add some nice fats to. So some of the options that we do like to use, we've got peanut butter. This is a good nut butter. It's only really lightly salted, and they use all natural ingredients. It's really tasty. Dangerous to have in the house sometimes. I use grass-fed butter. I prefer grass-fed. It tastes really delicious on your veggies. Coconut oil, which everyone's heard about a billion times. It's healthy for you. And some good olive oil. So I like to mix these up so I'm getting a good range of nutrients from each different source of fats. So this one I'm gonna add to my veggie dish, like that, and it's gonna be really tasty when I heat it up in the microwave tomorrow. Olive oil I'm going to add to my chicken and salad. And then my favorite is the nut butter, which I actually really like with beef. So that we're just gonna pop on the side there. And I usually eat it off first and then heat it up. These are my meals for the next 3 days. So this is gonna get me, it's Wednesday today, it's gonna get me through Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And that's kind of how we do our prep as well. We prep at the start of the week on a Sunday, so everyone's meals are fresh for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then we deliver a whole new lot, so you got it fresh Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So you should also do that at home because your meals should be only lasting you about 4 days to keep them nice and fresh. So this will last me my 3 days. So I'm allowed 2 carb meals a day and 1 fats and protein with full of veggies. So I got, out of that 60 bucks, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 meals, which is really good. I just shopped really smart. You can go a bit overboard and spend a lot. And I should also bought good quality ingredients from QE Foods, which is awesome. Please make sure you put your lids on your containers now while they're warm, and then let them cool down before you put them in your fridge. Otherwise, you're gonna get a build-up of bacteria, and you definitely don't want that in your food. With our deliveries, they do come in cooler bags for you, so they will stay cool at your door for a couple of hours, but I do suggest as soon as you wake up in the morning, bring your bags inside and pop it straight in the fridge, and the ones that you need to take to work, keep them in your cooler bags, and then pop them straight in the fridge once you're at work. Also, if you could leave your bags out for your next delivery, we do take them back and we recycle them for your next drop off.